Welcome back to the Soul Loving channel, guys, where I talk about what living in Korea is like and maybe inspire you to come and do the same. Today's topic, the benefits of teaching English in Korea. So in a previous video, I went into a lot of detail about what the job is like, but I didn't explain what benefits there are because of course there should be some incentive for you to come, right? Maybe you guys have the passion and the drive for teaching, really want to give some education and learning, and yeah, but you got to get paid. You got to have food on your table, right? You need to know. So I'm going to go over a couple things, not too many, but these benefits are very, very, very nice. First one, let's talk about money. So, how much are you going to get paid when you come here? Well, the base pay is at 2.1 million won. $1 million? No, calm down. 2.1 million won, so Korean monies. That, if it was an exact exchange rate, that would be $2,100 or $2,100 US dollars. I don't know what it is with the exchange rate. It fluctuates every day. I'm not gonna. You can put that in Google and exchange rate that. But I like to think of everything as exact. So 21 to 2.1, basically. Just imagine it that way. But yeah, the base pay is at 2.1 when you're first coming here. Now this can change depending on your experience and what kind of certifications you have. For example, the biggest one, the TEFL/TESOL certification of teaching English practice, basically. If you have this certificate, which I highly recommend you do, it takes a couple hours, well, many hours to do. I think it's at least 100 or 150 hours. But you put in this time, you get the certification, and it's a nice bonus on your resume for teaching English abroad. Some academies will see this and you have more of a standing to have a higher pay than just the base pay. Now also, have you taught English before in another country, or are you a teacher in your home country? These are also factors that could increase the pay or allow you to ask them, hey, I don't want the base pay. Can we go for something higher? I started at 2.3 when I first came here. Now, I got very lucky because a friend of mine vouched for me, and that's how I got that pay. But as I know, most people start at 2.1. This is for academies. For public schools, I've heard sometimes that the pay could actually be lower, but that's usually because you have more vacation time and maybe less hours. Hagwons are the most hours you'll work. It's about 30 or 35 hours a week you usually work. Anyways, from there it can go on up. Like there are academies that hire for 2.5, 2.6, 3, 3.1. Like it's insane. It can get up there. So a month you'll be getting anywhere from $2,100 to $3,000, which is so good. Some of you might be thinking, that's not a lot of money. You know, my job, I get paid more than that. Well, that's great. But do you pay for your rent? I bet you do. I bet you pay for your rent. You don't pay for your rent here. That's the next best benefit that you'll get for teaching English here. The academies pay for your rent, for your apartment. They put down the key money, which is the deposit fee. By the way, it's insanely expensive. You don't even want to know how much you would have to pay. They pay the key money and they pay the monthly rent for your apartment. How sweet is that? So not only you get paid, minus some taxation, but none of that money is going to your rent, which we all know is the biggest money eater. Many of us could be big money spenders on shoes, clothes, games, whatever hobbies. But at the end of the day, paying for rent every month is what really eats up our paycheck. To not have to worry about that, to not have to pay that money is just, it's so nice. I can't tell you how nice it's been to not have to pay rent for the last 2 years, basically. Now, the apartment you get is typically an office-tel, which I can go into detail later, but it's a nice benefit. You will still pay utilities, but utilities, going into my next point here, is so cheap. Oh my god, it's like nothing. It costs nothing. Water and electricity and gas are just dirt cheap. I think I pay like $3 or $4 for my water or gas or something. I don't know which one it is exactly, but it's just like $3 or $4. Sometimes it gets up to $12. Whoa, break the bank, hold on. The most money you're going to be spending on, though, just like everywhere, is heating and cooling. So having the boiler on and having the AC on. Those are the two things that will eat up your money. I think the most I've paid for those, or one of those in a month, was about 140,000 won, which is about $140 US. So yeah, those can get expensive, but everything else, like dirt cheap. Like, I have never complained about paying utilities. It's been pretty easy. Again, living in Korea, the cost is much lower. Like, again, you have to take into account, you're getting paid 2.1 to 3,000 or 3 million won a month. You're not paying rent. On top of that, utilities are cheap. So you have a lot of extra money to spend on yourself, basically, or save for whatever you want, basically. Now you have all these benefits. What else is there? Well, with all that money you're saving, it's, I guess, not too much of a benefit, but if you're like me, college student that has many loans to pay off in America, that's what you can use your money for now. Like, I have finally been able to save up money and pay monthly to reduce my loan amount, especially during this time of COVID, where they have been nice to not increase the interest or anything. So I've been actually decreasing my loan, which is so good. So good. I can actually afford to save money to put into that loan and paying it off. I think that's a really nice benefit, and maybe some people don't really talk about it, but I'm sure there are a lot of Americans out there that, you know, after they finish college, they have all this debt and they need to find a job, blah, blah, blah. My best suggestion is to teach English in another country, Korea, for example, but it can be any country. But I just know that in Korea, you actually can save your money to then send and start paying off your loans, which is really cool. So I think that's a really nice benefit. What else is there? Like I said earlier, the cost of living here is much lower. So all the things that you might like to do in America, eating out, shopping, blah, 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 all those cool things like spending time, much cheaper here. The cost of going out to restaurants, for example, is so much lower. On average, I pay about 10,000 won for like a restaurant, for a nice restaurant meal for just myself on average. And 10,000 won is about $10. And this is a course meal. Like, I'll get my main dish and then I have a bunch of side dishes. So that's really good. And that's the usual, in my opinion, when I'm going out to eat. Of course, this changes high and low, depending what kind of restaurant you can eat. But there are like meals you can get for like $2 or $3. And that's absolutely insane. You'd never find that. Well, maybe you could, but maybe the food wouldn't be so good. But yeah, the fact that you can go out anytime and just spend money on things that actually don't cost a lot is really great. Another benefit, this is attached to the teaching, medical insurance. Okay, I cannot stress this enough. Medical insurance. I try to explain to my students all the time, like, being in America and not having medical insurance is like normal. Or if you do, you just don't want to use it because you're going to pay so much money. They don't understand that here. Like, Everyone goes to the hospital for such minor things, like they have a scratch, they have a cough, because it's so cheap. It's so cheap to go to the hospital. Anytime I have some problem, I go to the hospital, I go to the clinic. Americans, you don't go to the hospital. We go to the drugstore, we go to the pharmacy, pick up some medication, go home. That's what we do because we don't want to pay that outrageous bill or whatever to go see the doctor. But here, you get medical insurance as part of your job. You get it. You get medical insurance, you pay half, and your director or your school pays half. So that blows my mind. Like, some people don't talk about this, but a lot of jobs in America don't give you medical insurance. But here, you just get it for basically being here and teaching English. And once you get that, I've literally paid $2, 2001 for medication. Not over-the-counter medication, like prescribed medication from a doctor. Like, you're going to get this medication, go to the pharmacy. I paid $2. Okay? What? $2? Even over-the-counter stuff is like $1, $2, $3. It can get high, of course, but I wish I could explain to all of you how amazing it is to be here and not worry anytime you're sick or have some problem outside of COVID, obviously. But like, if you have a cold, if you have a stomach ache, you have some other kind of serious disease, you can get it checked out, no problem. Even if you want to do like surgery, like skincare surgery, face surgery, plastic surgery, all of those things are much cheaper here. And I've had some Korean friends in America who would actually buy a plane ticket, go back to Korea to do some surgery because it was far cheaper than just doing it in America, including the plane ticket. So that really should give you an idea, like, it's really that good here to live here and just have this freedom of mind, basically. You never have to worry about these things. Now, this one, it's a minor benefit, but I'd consider it a benefit. Traveling. These days, traveling is still hard. I don't recommend it too often, but traveling within the country is so cheap. Like, booking of flights to Busan, for example, is like $60, $80. It's really cheap. It's so cheap to just fly or take a train anywhere within the country. And even flying to other countries that are nearby, like Japan, Philippines, Taiwan, Singapore, all dirt cheap. All dirt cheap. Just so cheap to fly to these other countries. Again, when everything's over and we can really travel, then that's the best time to do it. But no matter what time we're in, the price is still going to be about the same. It's still really cheap. So if you want to live here and you want to travel often whenever you have free time, you can. You have all that money saved up, and it doesn't cost you an arm and a leg to travel anywhere. So that's also really cool. I've had a lot of time to just kind of visit a lot of places before COVID struck and really kind of have fun. The last benefit I would say is that paying for Wi-Fi / phone bill also dirt cheap, man. I have the fastest internet I could pay for. Like, I wanted the best, and every month I pay $50. I pay $50 or 50,000 won for the best possible Wi-Fi I could get, and it's amazing. Now, I don't want to go into the specifics exactly what Wi-Fi I have because I don't have my list handy of all the details, but it is insanely fast. It's so good. I've had zero lag time. I've had no problems, no drop-offs, nothing ever for the last 2 years I've been here. And the phone bill is about $25 a month I spend. and that's for 4G data, Wi-Fi, unlimited calling, unlimited text, all of that. 25 bucks. So yeah, if you're somebody who loves technology, this is the place, man. This is the place to be for all of that. So I hope this has given you guys an insight of what there is for you when you get here, aside from, you know, the work and the struggle and all of that. Like, you get rent-free apartment, lots of money, good money, medical insurance, practically free medical insurance, traveling all wherever you want to go. And the fact that the utility bills, the electricity bills, Wi-Fi, all of that is just dirt cheap. Just the fact that those are so cheap to pay for is wonderful. And eating out is really, 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 really cheap. So yeah, we wrapped up those points. Again, I hope this has been useful for you guys who've been on the edge, like, oh, I don't know, maybe, because you are moving your life to another country, so you have to be sure, right? You have to be sure that there's going to be safety for you, that there's going to be something that can support you, because you are alone. I mean, you will make friends and you will have coworkers to help you, but your old family and friends won't be here, obviously. So these things are really, really, really good in my opinion. They've been my safety net for like just being here, like just the fact that I can remind myself, oh, I'm getting all these things. It's really good. Like it's really, 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 really cool. That's everything for today. I hope you guys look forward to the next video. If you haven't subscribed, please do. I hope you do. That would help me so much. Or give a like, a comment, so I know what you guys are thinking. And see you guys next time, all right? Bye.